Howdy, howdy, howdy. Bob is back. I was sick over the weekend. I apologize to everybody. Joe De Silva, who was supposed to come on live with me last week, he missed me Thursday, and then I was sick. I don't think I've done a video since Thursday. So I missed getting out all last weekend's events. I apologize about that also. But anyways, I'm back. So it's Monday. Most of the weekly bike nights are wrapped up for the year. I'm not going to say all of them are, but I think everyone knows where they are at this point. So, unless it's something really mind blowing I see on Facebook, I probably won't talk about them. Hey, Vinny, good to see you, bro. Hey, Sold Out, how are you, brother? So we got some guys coming in the chat. Good to see you guys. So, really strange phenomenon has happened. Since I did that interview with Mr. Harley Quinnon, and hey, Steve Easy, how are you, bro? I've been putting updates on how he's been making out with his club and all that, and it's his club. It's it's Satan's choice. So as he gains a chapter or two chapters or whatever the case is, I'll put an update about it. It's biker news. It's news. So I'm not being a spokesman for Harley or the Satan's choice. They haven't asked me to be, and I haven't taken it upon myself to be. So as long as we got, but since I did that interview, so people think that I left out some hard questions for Harley that I should have asked him, and I should have been more on him about this and about that. Now, the cool thing is, he did offer Black Dragon and I an update interview a few months or so down the road. Now, so far, I want to wait. I want to wait until he's really got a big first push done, because the man's like picked up a lot of chapters, a lot of places in a short period of time. So that might tell you something about how the scene's been in Canada for the last little while. Or it might just tell you something about himself. I don't know. However you want to look at it, that's how you want to look at it. So then another byproduct of this, notoriety, let's face it, that interview that Harley granted me, it was the first one he did. And the man did me a solid. I'll never forget it. I'll never, ever forget him for that. He gave me a big boost in subscriptions. And what's that thing been viewed like 50,000 times now off of my channel alone? So it was good for my channel. But you know what? I'm not always the kind of guy who's doing this for the clicks and the likes. I haven't even figured out how to figure out the AdSense part of it anyway. And anyways, I would love to be able to do this for a living, and this paid my bills, but I'm going to have to work at that at the same way as everyone else has to work at it, a step at a time until you get there. I just want to get the AdSense thing set up so I can do a members only thing where we have a little monthly subscription. I give you bonus material and stuff. I've got the bonus material sorted. So anyway, so that's, so he helped me, and I gave him his first platform to talk on. And obviously he liked how it went, and he's been on a few other platforms and give other people interviews. Good for him. And it's working for him, because now apparently he's opening up some places in America and this and that. So they want me to keep that beating dead horses with him. Again, I'm not going to bring it up now, because I will ask him when he gives me the update interview, and we'll just ask him then, and ask him politely and properly, and then we'll talk about it. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. I will get a membership section set up. Oh, thank you, Lulu. And that's the thing, right? Like, Harley did me a lot of good. I'm not going to ever deny that. And you know what? From talking to the guy, yeah, we're on each other's friends lists on Facebook and stuff, and we send each other messages back and forth on Messenger once in a while. And talking to the guy, I personally like the dude. That's my opinion. I like him. I like the way he spoke. I liked his answers. I like his vision and all that. So because I'm not attacking Harley to these people's satisfaction, they've decided that they should attack me instead, right? So that's another way to go about things in this online world, is if you can't get directly at the person, you want to get under their skin, get at somebody else's who you think is either close to them or speaks to them a lot or has a platform or whatever, right? So now it's been thrown around all over the place. No 1% clubs should do interviews with Bob on Biker News Canada because he's out of his old club bad. Here we go with this bad bullshit again. So, and let's face it, Black Dragons lived it. Um, Chuck Zito lived it. There's been plenty of guys from all over the world with a lot more stature in the motorcycle world than I have who've had to live it. Go away, bud. I'm busy right now. So, I guess it's my turn. So the big thing is the claim that I have checked in a protective custody one time when I was incarcerated. Now, if you're not in the bad guy world, you don't even care what that means. But so hey, I'll give you the story because there was a story, but I never checked in the PC. So there was a story. I was up in a little northern Ontario town, up in jail there, 2 ranges, and northern Ontario, and then you get in the western side of Canada. Most of the jails, small jails. I was just in a pretrial custody bail. We call them the bucket in Canada. I was in the bucket, county jail, waiting for it to see what was going to happen on him. If I'm going to get bail, got denied bail in lower court, had to wait for high court. And I think we got shot down in bail for high court. No, we got bail the first time around in high court. So that took about 10, 12 months. It usually takes 12 months, 13 months, whatever it takes. So I was in there doing my time. In this jail, the way it was set up, and these kids were from this town. I wasn't from there either, by the way. I'm from Southern Ontario. But I moved up there because I was doing hella business up there. So so they gave us enough material we can make a brew once a week. And like I'm talking about a gallon of brew. I don't know if you ever been to jail. You ever drank a brew? Turned you cuckoo. I remember coming up, went out bad. I actually had teeth. So I'm going to get to, Steve. I'm eating up too much time on this because this shit's actually kind of boring, to be honest with you. So anyways, we got drunk on the screech. I sat down with another one of the old guys on the range to play Scrabble. Next thing you know, I'm waking up, I'm in healthcare. So I was in a fight without ever knowing I was in a fight. The kid was a black belt in sucker shot, whatever. So they threw me back on the range. Another guy came up, bam! He popped me, and my head was still spinning from being knocked out. I'm like, what the fuck? I turned around, I left the range. So there you go. Yes, I left the range. That's the way she goes, man. Things here, stacks, they don't like you, you fucking get your own podcast. Good idea. So then, as a jail does, they sent me to the other side. It's only a 2-range jail. Well, the other side said, go back on that side and deal with your problems. So I got bounced off that range too. So I'm sitting in the hole. They say, you want to sign in and sign the papers and go to, no, I don't. So I never did. Met up with the one guy who had the beef in jail bullpen, court bullpen. So we were going to court and he was going to court the same day. I said, yo, listen, you still got beef? He's like, no. I'm like, what? I said, I've been down in the hole for 2 fucking months because of this shit. He's like, no. He says, it was a drunken thing. I don't care about that stuff. I said, I'm going back up on range when we get out of East. I don't give a shit what you do. So boom, back up on range, went to Gen Pop. That's been the story. So there you go, guys. That is the story. Big fucking deal. Now, again, the people who watch my show are going to watch my show, whether I'm out bad, out good, stick up your ass, whatever the case is. It is what it is. I'm not here to join a motorcycle club, guys. I'm here to bring you guys motorcycle news and to be entertaining. And I think people come here for my personality and because I know a little bit about the life because I lived the life. So that's what I got. Hey, Cal, how are you, bro? So that's where we are. About the checking in thing, I'm not going to bring it up again. Anyone wants to call me a check in ever again, say what you got to say to make your life feel better. I don't give a fuck at all. And as far as whether I'm in, out bad or not from the club, that ain't going to affect my life at all. All I know is when I left the club, I left on the same way that the one guy who's got the most to say about me, he pled out too. So don't tell me it's because I pled out and took a deal, because there's other guys who are still active who took that same deal. So I know a lot more than you people think I know. So again, I don't want to be aggressive. I don't want to call people out, but that's what it is. Hey, Jason, how are you, bro? Means nothing. Exactly, Cal. So that's my story. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Because I think you guys are here for other things than to know my past and all these trivial things that don't mean nothing that happened, 25 years ago. So let's move on. So I decided I'm going to start a new thing about infamous Canadian motorcycle guys who were nutbags, bro. Did you give away the Riker? I think to maybe have been in life over there. We know the politics. Yeah, thanks, Lulu. So, so I want to do the first one. If you're from Ontario and you're my age or maybe a touch older, this name will be familiar to you. And he was a whack job. Well, no, I can't say a whack job, but he was a dude. He was a dude, and he lived life the way he lived his life. His name was Brian Beaucage, and he was a member of the Satan's Choice, not this incarnation, obviously the incarnation before. And back when I was being a probate in the club, the one older guy was telling me the story about this guy. I think they all called him Bo. And he come over to our clubhouse in London on Egerton Street. Somebody from the Schwab won it. Right on. Good for them. So Bo comes over to our clubhouse on Egerton Street. This is before I was a member, before I was a hang around, before I was coming around. And he's out there. Don't know what he's standing on something. And there's a great big, our club name and logo on a 4x8 piece of plywood, painted all up, stuck to the side of the building. That was our clubhouse. And he was up there pulling on the damn thing, trying to get it off the building. And there's guys in the upstairs windows doing this at him. All sorts of hell's breaking loose. The cops are coming. There's lead in the air. There's all sorts of shit. He's screaming. All these guys inside should have been in the choice with him or something. He was going for it. And he was from London. I want to show you a little bit here from Wikipedia, because I can't even believe this was on Wikipedia, but there it is. It's on Wikipedia. That shouldn't be a big surprise to me. So Brian Leslie Beaucage. So he was born back in 47. So he'd be a lot older than me. I was born, that's 20 years before I was born. So he was a gangster, an outlaw biker. So he was in the 1971 Kingston Penitentiary riot. So that's how far back he goes. So he was born in St. Catharines, but he grew up here in London, Ontario. How's it going on, brother? Man, No Mercy. How are you, No Mercy? Hey, thank you, bro. Don't forget to hit that like button. He's right. So he was brought up in London, Ontario. So he accumulated a lengthy criminal record for various violent crimes starting back in 1964. As he joined an outlaw biker, they call it gang. One policeman from London Police Department, Don Andrews, said, Beaucage, you always knew Brian wasn't going to die a natural death. A prison report described him as Beaucage is an intelligent person who resorts to assaultive, aggressive behavior without remorse or provocation. He is considered to be very manipulative and potentially dangerous. So he got convicted of manslaughter in 69, after he killed a dude in London, he was sent to Collins Bay Institution, which is max security, with a wall, with a one shot warning wall. But he was sent into the shoe, basically, into the high security, which is called Kingston Penitentiary, after he attacked the prison guard with a sledgehammer. And at the Kingston Pen, he was considered a loner, as one of the most violent prisoners. And that's what a fellow inmate described him. And then he was a part of the 71 riot, which was a big riot. I think it was a race riot, and it went really bad. There's a lot of deaths in that riot. Some guards got kidnapped. There was some shit going on in that. Boring? You kidding me? Oh, way boring. Yeah, I guess it is from back in the day. You guys, I thought this stuff would be interesting for everybody. Huh? We can kill it if you don't like it. So, and now you guys threw me off. I thought you guys would be into this story. So yeah, so he was a violent guy. He did his thing. He got shot in London, shot in the heart, and survived. And here's how his life ended, though. How they always do. In a bedroom of a rooming house, high and drunk, arguing with one of his buddies, who was apparently a member of the Loners, and never woke up again because the other guy took his head off that night in his bed. So that was it. Was Vlad strolling? Well, fuck you then, Vlad. So yeah, he spent the night drinking with his old lady. I don't know why this got in the story, but it did. Watching pornography with his old lady and a Loners member, some guy named Frank something. And the reason it's in there is because Frank got convicted of it. Bo told the guy to leave. The guy got pissed off about that. So he came back, armed with a kitchen knife, and he hacked at Beaucage while he laid in bed, ultimately beheading him. And that was the end of him. So he lived hard and he died hard. And when did he make it to? I think like 81, man. So he didn't make it too long. Screws and sledgehammers. I know I've never heard of a story where an inmate got a hold of a sledgehammer in a maximum security prison. I find it interesting. I've heard stories about you nutbags up north, down here. We have biker wars. You know, they have a notch. Well, see, I wanted to. I wanted to do a bunch of stories like this and tie them together, like Mom Bouchard. How did it end? He ended up getting thrown out of his club after he was convicted, and now he's got to live in PC. And there's supposed to be an in jail hit on him. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys that after they were the biggest, the baddest, and the most violent, they end up on the wrong side of their club, because there was always speculation around the Beaucage thing that I do recall this, is that, you know, there's always speculation whether he did, that Frank guy did it, or if he did it on payment from Beaucage's own club. And, you know, there's inter-club conflict. Some guys didn't like him because he would start a war, or he would bring the heat. You know what I'm saying? And some guys in the club life don't like the brother that brings the heat. Why would they, right? Some guys want to stay low, be low, make their money, and ride their motorcycles. My political. So that's where that is. So yeah, so Beaucage was my first one. I'm going to keep doing a couple more of these. I could try to spice them up a bit instead of reading it off of Wikipedia, but I only know so much of the story myself. I remember the nuts and bolts of the story. I remembered that the guy had been hit in the head with an axe while he was in a hotel room. So that's the funny thing about stories and memories, right? You know, maybe that's how I was told the story. Hey, Big Lock, good to see you, bro. You know what I mean? But in the end, it was in a boarding house in a shitty part of Toronto, you know, with a bottle of booze and a bag of whatever. And in some porn movies. And then that was it. So you go from the big guys, and then the way it turns out is after a while they get sick of you. Who's this? Beaucage? So Rama Corkle, what are we doing here? Beaucage organized a kangaroo court that sentenced 16 undesirable prisoners to death, massive ceremonies, chapel, used a megaphone. So this is during the riot. What shall we do, gentlemen? And then they got castrated or killed them. So they rounded up all the fiddlers during that riot, and they went for it themselves while the guards were being held hostage. Oh, he was a wild man. That was a story I never heard before until I just read it there on Wikipedia. So they were they were beaten bloody and did all their shit. Wow, eh? I seen did some interesting shit in the joint. Yeah, and that's the thing when they're down there for guys that are in there for that long. They don't care. They don't care. If they catch some street charges, they don't care. In Canada, I think if you murk a guy in the Canadian pen, they only add a nickel to you. You know what I mean? So some guys think about that, you know. But yeah, so that was all part of the riot. That's insane. Oh, but he tortured a guy who was not a fiddler. He was a car thief. Well, why would that kid be in an 18-month sentence in the Kingston pen for? That story doesn't make sense on those merits alone. The Kingston pen's for 2 years and more. So even Wikipedia, I don't know if they get their stories right. Or maybe it's back in the day where you never knew what kind of jail you were going to end up going to. You know, before they had to do less was provincial, and the 2 years and above was federal. And all the guys have always told me, a lot of guys don't use the free man of the land, don't require. Yeah, I don't think that shit flies, bro. That free man stuff. Just curious, but displaying the spoils of a patchover, is it cool? I don't really know what you mean by that, Chris. Just displaying the spoils of the patchover. So if you're talking about the way I'm doing updates on whatever the choice have been doing is, I don't know if they're patchovers or what they are. I'm assuming they are. I'm just announcing when he announces that he's got a chapter in Saskatchewan, I announce it because it's news. I didn't think it played. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. You know what I mean? So I don't even know what club he's patched over. I don't put that into my reporting. It's not my business. I know he had a post up there this morning about a group photo of him and 55 of his new maritime brothers. So I don't know. I don't know where he got those guys from. I didn't ask. We'll ask him all that when he comes back. If he comes back, you can't be a sovereign and a citizen. You can only be one. Yeah, I don't think that sovereign stuff really flies, does it? All they do is the cops kick your butt little bit down in the holding cell. Like when it comes to biker stories, I remember one of the guys from our chapter, I won't say his name. We're down in Windsor, Ontario, and we're coming out of the strip joint, heading back to the clubhouse, to the Windsor chapter clubhouse. And the cops stopped us as we're heading to our vehicles and started shaking us all down. They're like, what the fuck you guys want shakes down for? So the one guy, they shook him down. I think he had a couple of Percocets in his pocket or something. So they took him. They arrested him. See the cuffs on him, took him down. She was down in the station. They started hitting him. I don't know what their deal was. I think they were just going for one of those nights where they didn't care about a charge. They just wanted to assault some outlaws. So The guy looks at him. He's sitting there in the chair. They've already hit him a couple times. He goes, "You hit like a girl. Like hit me like you mean." And he come back to the clubhouse. He was lumpy, man. But they laid a beating on him and let him go. I've never seen nothing like that before. You need a license, a rag, a DNA test, 3 jobs in the club. To be in the club these days. Well, and if you want to get down to it, you know what I mean? And again, it's not my place to say anymore because I'm not in a 1% club anymore. But it used to be, stealing from the club. Nope, didn't do that. Snitched on somebody. Nope, didn't do that. Banged some club member's old lady. Nope, didn't do that. And what else is there? Like, there's only 3 or 4 real big events that puts a member out bad. But again, each club's got their own bylaws and their own rules, and they can say it whatever hell they want to anymore. You know what I mean? So maybe if you hurt so and so's feelings and he's got enough sway, he can say you're out bad. But I know from people I speak to in my comments and who message me and stuff like that, is that people ask about me, who is this guy, whatever, right? And one guy asked in southwestern Ontario and was told, oh, he's out bad. He wrote a book. And then when the same person or somebody else asked in Eastern Ontario, they're like, oh yeah, Bobby's a good guy. And I've had people call me up and offer me to come to the clubhouse. So who knows? Who knows, right? Politics. Well, that's what happens inside of motorcycle clubs. They get cliquey. And then all of a sudden, like you say, if you're not hanging out with the cliquey one and they decide, well, they don't want to hang out with you no more, then what do? Well, this Beaucage guy, he did a lot more shit than I realized. So he picked up 2 counts of first-degree murder from that riot. And they called it the Kingston 13. I kind of remember that. In 71. Wow. So what do you get? What do you get for it? What do you get for it? I bet you didn't get nothing for it. They made plea bargains and 1 count of manslaughter each. And you got 21 months for it. Concurrently with his 8-year sentence for manslaughter. Concurrently means at the same time, right? Yeah, consecutive means they're one after each other. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Steve. That's all I'm trying to work towards. And the whole reason that I started this channel wasn't to say I'm a hard guy, I'm a tough guy. I'm a know-it-all. It was to present Canadian biker news because nobody else was doing it. And then when I discovered all the riding clubs up here in Canada and all the good things that they do for the community, I thought I should cover that angle more than all the crime stories. Because in Canada, you'll run out of material quickly if you're just waiting for stories in the newspaper. And I don't like painting bikers in that picture with that light anyways. I'd rather paint bikers in a good light. So that's what I did. You know what I mean? So that's where I end up taking this thing. So after he got out in 84, I still wasn't even hanging around bikers in 84. And then he came back over here, became an annihilator. Then he went to Kitchener, became his choice. And then he had a strong hatred for the outlaws in London. And he was always in London beefing. He got shot. He got shot in the heart in London one night and survived it. So, Beaucage's heavy use of cocaine and amphetamines added to his aggression. Well, no doubt. In common with many other outlaw bikers, he worked as a subcontractor, making regular trips to Montreal to work for the Rizzutos. Huh. So then he got transferred from the Kitchener chapter of the Choice over to the Oshawa chapter. And then one of the old timers, that guy that a lot of people know the name, Lauren Campbell, I don't think he was digging having Bo in the club too much anymore. Well, it says that they had planned on doing it themselves. So that's it. So you live hard and you basically go down hard is the nature of the game in the biker world. Yeah, exactly. So that is the first one, and I'm gonna do more of these. I don't care. I like them. Of notorious Canadian bikers, Brian Beaucage, Satan's Choice member. At the end of it, it sounds like he bounced through a few smaller clubs before he got to the Choice, and then I think when he got to the Choice, I think that they decided he was a little too much for him. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. The gruesome nature of his murder led to take on a legendary reputation within Canadian biker circles, being known inaccurately as the 50 Whacks with an Axe in a trilogy of romance novels written by Beaucage's cousin Karen Black. Beaucage appears as the Byronic hero character Dace Devereaux, the cousin and lover of the protagonist Lisa Devereaux. Well, that's weird, eh? So his cousin wrote a thing of novels and he was kind of in them. That's interesting. Thank you, Steve. Do like Steve said, hit the like and the subscribe button. Howdy, Motobon. How you doing? Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Time release after dinner, man. Time to give them up. Will they make you sleepy? So that's what we got tonight. I didn't even look at whatever rides are going on tomorrow. I think most of our bike nights have packed it in, to be quite honest with you, for the season. I think, there's a couple other like smaller stories that have been they've been in the press. I knew another guy up here in London. He he took the cop's tool off of his belt and banged that cop with his own tool and got 13 years for it. Didn't kill the guy, but he got 13 years for it, man. That's all he got. But he did pretty much every day of that. And he's out now. And I think he retired out east somewhere, I think. But yeah, there's lots of wacko jobs like that. There's another old Satan's Choice story from Sudbury where the guys in the chapter decided they were going to bomb something else. So they had a pipe bomb or something like that made. And they went and they tried to blow up the Sudbury police station and got caught. So you imagine where that one went. I don't know if those guys are still inside or not. But yeah, there's been some crazy stories up here in Canada of the biker community and the things that they think are are a good idea, I guess, at the time. I don't know. Maybe it must have been a good idea at the time. Yeah, but then you're sitting there wearing orange for all them years. Like, fuck. Maybe we shouldn't have done that, Probably shouldn't have. Like, A, what the heck were you doing building a pipe bomb? And B, what the heck were you doing putting it beside the police station? And I don't think they were like trying to get anyone out or anything. I don't think they had a plan for it. They just went and did it. They went for it. Yeah, I'm looking through the Tuesday bike nights. I got a feeling most of them are wrapped up. But all you guys in Canada, you should know where they are by now. If you want to go by and check them out, Listowel had one, and a few places had one. Guelph had one, but I don't think you'll find them anymore. London had a couple. But that's what we got. I found a lot of serenity and just riding by myself here lately. Don't have to worry about the politics. Just saying. Yeah, and you know what? I didn't bring up none of this shit because it's not that interesting. Like that shit, that big stupid story I told you at the start. It's not that interesting of a story. And B, like you say, I'm not trying to throw myself into the stories. I'm just trying to tell the stories. I don't want to throw myself into the stories. Then it would have to be a station about me, and we don't want that. That's boring. So I'm just trying to do what I'm doing here, keep everyone entertained, keep you amused. This is all for entertainment at the end of the day. There's plenty of people in Canada that ride motorcycles. I want to try to bring them all together, make the motorcycle community what it is, a community. You know what I mean? And of course, you're always going to have your 1% clubs that do what 1% clubs do because that's what they do. And another thing, just the last thing I'll say about it is after all that shit started getting swirled around about me, I did have another 1% club come up for an interview. And thank you again, Rod and Fester from Bacchus MC. They came and chatted with me 2-3 weeks ago, and we had a good conversation all about Bacchus MC and all this different stuff they do. They're pretty good bunch of guys. I really enjoyed speaking to them guys too, and they're pretty open. They open up their clubhouse and do open house and bike nights right out of their clubhouse weekly. They're good dudes. So you know what I mean. And any other 1% club, if they want to come up and shoot an interview, I'm open for it. I don't care. It's all good with me. I I was speaking with another, I believe it's a riding club. I got lined up for this week, so there should be an interview coming back out again on Thursday. And it's a new club I hadn't heard of before. So it'll be interesting to hear who they are and hear all the different cool things that they do for the community. Because again, that's a part of the biker shit that I'm trying to portray. I can tell you all sorts of stupid stories about chipping this and flaking that and collecting this and whatever, right? But after a while, it gets to be a bit much. And again, that's wasn't my vision with the channel. So if I get some guys up and they might rub you the wrong way, that's the way it goes. You don't have to watch. If I get some guys up and you think that what they're saying is shit, get in the chat and ask them or say so or do something, right? Like just don't spam the chat. When I had the Bacchus on, someone was spamming my chat and it pissed me off. So, just don't spam the chat. Just come here and say what you got to say, do what you got to do, and or just listen, man. You know what I mean? That's all. So I think I'm going to wrap up with that one today, gentlemen. I thank everyone who came along and checked out, or ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. And like you say, all you guys watching on the side weren't in the chat, please hit like. That's all I ask of you. And subscribe if you haven't yet. And everybody in the chat, I want to thank you guys all so much. I really appreciate, So Loud, Motor Bomb, Stevie, Mikey, all you guys. It's always a pleasure. I like just talking to you guys sometimes in the chat. No Mercy, all you cats, Chris, I thank you guys for coming in, Vinny, Cal, and all you cats, man. So Loud. It makes my day to see you guys come in. No Mercy. I think I already mentioned you, and Big Block. Yeah, and Lulu too. So thank you guys, the Northern Mentors, Jason and Carney too. I almost missed you, Carney. I never miss Carney. So thanks guys for coming in the chat and hanging out with me this evening. You guys make my day. I'll be back. I'm gonna stick to 8 o'clock nightly as much as I can, guys. So that's where we are, and I'll be back tomorrow. See, B Twins for the win. Fuck the Milwaukee Eights. I wouldn't mind going back to an Evo, man. I thought that buddy of mine was gonna trade me an Evo show, but an Evo bike, but he wasn't into it. Thanks, Lulu. Thanks, Vinny. And thanks, No Mercy. Thank you guys. And like I say, I'll see you all back again tomorrow. Good night.